So it seems like AEW has all the momentum right now. I mean, we've just seen Okada arrive, we've seen Will Ospreay arrive, and now we're gonna get Mercedes Moné. It seems like we're gonna get her at AEW Big Business next week. Now, I feel the last time AEW were this hot was when they had CM Punk around, when they had Bryan Danielson come in, Adam Cole come in. You know, that time period where people were coming in and everyone was like, oh, this is some big, big business. Excuse the pun. And I think that's where they are right now. They've had big names. I mean, Okada, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Obviously, Will Ospreay, the best wrestler in the world, the GOAT, the Billy Goat, Will Ospreay. And then, of course, Mercedes Moné, arguably the biggest name in women's wrestling, also making a potential appearance. And I just think AEW is in a good spot right now, which is surprising because just a couple of weeks ago, I was like, AEW is really struggling. Revolution was a very good pay-per-view. There were some stories throughout. Some matches had no story, like the Will Ospreay match, like the All-Star match, like a couple other matches, but a lot of the matches had some very good story. And I think what I'm liking about AEW right now is the people that are on top are fresh faces. And that kind of feels like the early days of AEW, you know, the fresh faces. Samoa Joe, fresh face in AEW. Swerve Strickland, fresh face in the main event scene. Hangman Adam Page, he's not a fresh face, but we know he's a main event caliber and he's not a star that we've had for years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is really refreshing, and I'm enjoying that aspect of AEW right now. I'm enjoying not seeing Jon Moxley in the main event scene. I'm enjoying not seeing Chris Jericho around there. I'm enjoying not seeing those faces for a change, and it's really, really refreshing. Look, there obviously are a lot of negatives and a lot of bad things within AEW. I mean, the same is with WWE. So please don't think that this is an AEW targeted video. This is more of a observation about the company, but not a comparison to WWE. Remember that. This is an observation about the company, not a comparison to WWE. A lot of people tend to think an observation means a direct comparison. It's not a comparison. I'm talking about this company as its own entity. I'm not talking about this company in comparison to the bigger company. That's not what I'm doing here. So, to get back to this, there's obviously some aspects that need working on. Like, I think the women's division is super talented, but the booking's terrible. The booking is terrible. Even Toni Storm's gimmick, really good gimmick, but I feel she's not able to work that gimmick in the ring. You know what I'm trying to say? I feel like she's torn between her old Toni Storm hard-hitting, action-packed, explosive manner of wrestling and this other style of wrestling. She's like torn in between and it's not gelling. I don't think she's had a good match under the timeless Toni Storm gimmick. So that is a negative. Then we get, but now if we move on to the positives, I mean, the EVP thing, I was not a fan of it, but I was at the same time like, I see what they're trying to do. It was possible, it was actually way too late. They should have done it straight after the CM Punk stuff, and they would have got real heat from it. But they did it far too late. But with Okada coming in, I'm like, Okada is a heel. I like it. I like the fact that we're not getting Okada from New Japan. I know he was a heel at points, but we're not getting just that guy. We're not just getting the Rainmaker. We're getting a new version of the Rainmaker. We're getting someone new in AEW. We're getting Tony putting a spin onto Okada. We're getting some story with Okada. We're getting something exciting from it. And I like that. Personally, I was a fan of Okada's segment this week, and I really think him and the Young Bucks could do some good work. And obviously, it's going to lead to a match between Kenny at some point, if he's fit and healthy and perfectly in good shape. And then obviously a Hangman Page match as well, which I think will be absolutely superb. So I'm down for this match either flippin' way. I think it's going to be really good, and I like Okada in that role. Now we move on to Will Ospreay. In my opinion, they are clearly setting up Will Ospreay to be a face of the company. He's going to turn, or the Don Callis family is going to turn on him because he's beating all of their members. I genuinely think that's going to happen. And then they're going to start pushing, after having a feud, start pushing Will Ospreay towards the world title scene for AEW All In. It's written in the stars. Will Ospreay defeating, I don't know, Samoa Joe at AEW All In, or Swerve Strickland, but that's face versus face, because let's face it, Strickland is now a face. And it's not a face but doing heelish things. He cut a face promo after Revolution. Full-on face promo, which I am happy about. I don't like a heel getting fan reaction and staying doing heel things. I just think it makes your product look wacky. But if a heel is getting face reactions, make the turn. Make the turn if you see this is something legitimate. Because now, your show is not wacky. Now the fans are booing the heel in Hangman Adam Page, and they're cheering the face rather than the other way around. Good by Tony Khan. Really, really good. The momentum is there for those people as well in the main event scene. Then you got the likes of Danny Garcia, who I think he's doing some of his better work. He's slowly building himself back up as a single star, and I'm happy about it. Momentum there is being built. Obviously, then we got Ospreay, like I was talking about, all in. Momentum there. Konosuke Takeshita, building momentum. Powers Hobbs, building momentum. There's people around there building momentum. But then on the other hand, we got the BCC, who I'm just not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the faction. I'm not a fan of the style of wrestling because it's imitating a real fight. Fair enough. Trying to make it as real as possible. But when you try to imitate too much, you can see the fakeness. You get what I'm trying to say in that. Wrestling has a style which people have come to accept. And maybe it's good to innovate the style. Of course it is. Of course it is. But at the same time, don't try and imitate it too much to the point where we can see it's fake. And don't try and imitate it too much to the point where we have now a big flat finish because you decided to lock in a bulldog choke, after hitting your finisher twice. The finisher didn't do it, now you lock in a bulldog choke. Flat as fuck finish. I can't handle that finish. I cannot handle a submission after you've just hit your finisher. It's so flat. It's so boring. You've built this whole thing up. He's kicked out of the finisher. You lock in a submission. He sleeps. Come on. What's even worse for me is you hit your finisher. You pin them. They kick out. You hit your finisher again. That's cool. Now it's done. No, man. Keep it going. Let them fight back now. They kicked out. Let them fight back. I understand the realism aspect to that. If it didn't work, well, now do it again. Just do it again. But that's not wrestling. That's not what pro wrestling has been built on. Pro wrestling has been built on getting the emotion out of you, not trying to... If I wanted to watch that, I'd watch UFC, if I want to watch a real fight. So that's my one problem with them. Then we go on to Mercedes Moné coming in. I know I'm bouncing around everywhere, but I'm just thinking everything AEW right now. Because it's been a while since I've actually had a sit-down conversation spoken about AEW. Mercedes Moné comes in, okay? Big business. Yes, I know the pun, but it's big business, okay? I assume she's going to be the highest paid women's wrestler. Of course, she's actually going to be the highest paid women's wrestler. She's a huge asset to Tony Khan in terms of star power. An AEW women's match can't main event AEW right now. It cannot, it will not. They don't have the star power, they don't have the credit in the bank. Unfortunately, that is the fact. Bring in Mercedes Moné, instant main event. Instant pay-per-view main event if you really need to do it, if you've got an injury somewhere. Instant. And nobody will bat an eye. In fact, people will be praising Tony Khan for finally doing something like that. So, for me, huge move. I think of the matches between her and Tony Storm, if we get a good Tony Storm. The matches between her and Thunder Rosa would be excellent. Even a Britt Breaker and Mercedes Moné feud. The match might not be the best, but the story aspect and everything else, I'm down for that. Mercedes Moné against the likes of Chris Statlander, so good. There's a lot of matches, I know I'm forgetting a lot, but a lot of really good matches on the cards there. Of course, you can run back the Willow Nightingale feud because they had their match and Willow beat her for the New Japan Strong title when she was injured. Something to run back there. I just think the possibilities are endless there, and it's really going to help that women's division. And I hope nobody in that women's division feels threatened. I hope they rather feel excited about this. And I think they do. I think they understand what Mercedes Moné can offer them. But then onto the other side, we got the TNT title, which started off hot. Christian was doing the best work in the company with that title. And then they overbooked the shit out of everything. They gave him 10 lackeys to walk around him. They gave him a dude's mother. The dude is there, the dude's mother is there, and the dude's dinosaur is there. Come on. Don't overbook things that are simplified. All you needed was Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. That is all you needed. You did not need a kid, a dinosaur, and the kid's mother. You didn't need it. You did not need it. And I think they overbooked the shit out of that. I'm still excited for the match, but I don't have that feeling I had in the beginning. You get what I'm saying? That TNT title, in all honesty, scrap it. Put the AEW International title in its place. Move on with life. That's what I'll do. But obviously, TNT is the TV provider, so not going to happen. But that would be me. Then you got Orange Cassidy with the AEW International Championship. Oh, thank God he lost it. I would have had to cosplay Orange Cassidy here today, ladies and gentlemen. You would have seen me in an Orange Cassidy outfit here today. So thank God that didn't happen. But Roddy Strong with the title, the United Empire, what's that faction called? United Kingdom? United Empire? Why am I forgetting this? That faction with Adam Cole, dead. Boring as hell. Nothing interesting there. It died the moment MJF got injured. Because where do you go from there? You build up all this heat with MJF, boom. No more heat. Now you got to create heat out of nowhere. It was destined to die from the day that happened, and unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening. Wardlow is trying to build himself up, but it's just not the same with Wardlow either. It would have been better if he was facing MJF like planned. I think that would have been good, but obviously MJF got injured. So like I say, without MJF, that whole story is just not it. It's not hitting. It's not catching a light. It's very, very boring. And then you got the tag titles, which are now obviously relinquished. And guess what? Another tournament. Yay, Tony Khan with some excellent booking. Another tournament. I'm tired of tournaments, I'm not going to lie. But, hey, another tournament. Should be some good matches. Should see some FTR, some BCC. I'm already predicting that to be the final. We should see the Young Bucks maybe in there. They'll probably avoid it because they're busy with the Okada stuff. I don't know. We'll see some good matches. We'll see some good matches for sure. But I do see the BCC coming out on top. I think they're building them for some reason, which is really, really interesting. Then, of course, one thing I didn't mention was Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay that's coming up. That could be one of the match of the year, like instantly. If Bryan Danielson is fit throughout that match and doesn't get injured, I can guarantee you now that might be match of the year. And for now, for so far for me, matches of the year are probably Will Ospreay versus Josh Alexander TNA, Bryan Danielson versus Okada, Bryan Danielson for Zack Sabre Jr. versus Zack Sabre Jr. And then we got Will Ospreay versus Michael Oku. Those are my match of the year contenders so far. I don't know which one is better so far. So far, I'm leaning towards Danielson versus Okada because I just think as a technical aspect, that was absolutely brilliant. Hard hitting. So for me, it might be that one. Maybe Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. I think Ospreay's had some fantastic matches, and he is the best in the world for me. But I think there's more to come from him. I think there's way more to come from him. The Michael Oku match, if it was on a bigger platform, probably would be match of the year. Because the storytelling in that match was superb. Absolutely superb. So with that being said, that is my rundown of AEW right now. But in saying that, they have all the momentum right now. All the momentum. And that's important. The fact that they've built up this momentum and the fact that they need to run with this momentum now. They've changed the way they look, the Dynamite looks. They've changed the way their logo looks. They've changed a whole lot. They changed the stage, the tunnels, all of that. Time to build. Time to run with this momentum and time to use it. Anyways, guys, I'm excited to see what the future is for AEW, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of my thoughts. I know I went through a lot of different factors, but in all honesty, I needed a rundown on AEW Dynamite. I haven't spoken about it for a while. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Take care and peace.